So today we're going to check out the Vintage Tube Overdrive by Behringer. The chain goes from the guitar to the EHX Silencer to the TO800 Vintage Tube Overdrive by Behringer and straight to the Ignite Emissary by STL Tones. I'm also using some ENGL cabinet impulses that I've had for a few years, and I'm going to put those in a Google Drive that I'll make public so that you can download them. So let's test out a few tones with the pedal. Alright, so I have hooked my guitar up, going from my guitar to the silencer, and then to the Tube Overdrive, and straight into the Ignite Emissary and the Ignite NadIR. This is my clean tone. And that's no EQ, completely raw, no compression. Let's turn on the overdrive. There's a very low noise, and it does have a nice overdrive tone to it. If I dial back on the drive, and maybe dial back on the level, sounds a lot better. So it does work decent as an overdrive. No one's disputing that. Doesn't sound too bad. Now let's check out the thing everybody wants to hear, how it sounds like pushing a high gain amp. Alright, so we're on the high gain channel. This is just the Ignite amp Emissary with the gain at about 9 o'clock. Let's kick it up with the Vintage Overdrive. That's pretty good, not gonna lie. That kicks it up a lot. Not bad, not bad at all. It's a tiny bit of noise coming through, and that's just because the silencer isn't as fast as I would like it to be. Now the gain went from being around 9, 10 o'clock to about 3 o'clock. Alright, now for some pros and cons of the pedal. The good, the bad, the kind of weird. So the overall design is a great overdrive, but unfortunately, the housing is the worst aspect of it. It's very delicate, very, very delicate. In fact, most of the bad reviews that you can find online in any website will be of how delicate it is. It came broken, dead on arrival. Didn't last months just because of how quickly they broke. Another weird Behringer thing is that power's on the side. Luckily, the power cables I use do have an angled jack. I know some people might not have that, but if they're using a straight one, can make things kind of awkward as far as fitting on your pedal board. Another downside to that, I personally like using D'Addario cables. I mean, I have a ton of them lying around. I don't know how I got so many, but having the D'Addario cables next to the power can be a little awkward, seeing as the cable is a little thick. Even though it's angled, they don't always fit together. Found this happening quite a few times actually. I noticed that my D'Addario cable kept coming out of the input jack, and that's because the power cable was in the way. They could have put it at the top. That would have been the most convenient for any pedal board, I would argue. That's just Behringer. I don't know if it was cost effective to do that. Another thing I noticed, it does have a little bit of noise when you crank the drive. So, I mean, for metal's sake and for high gain sake, we keep the drive all the way down, so that's never going to be a problem. Even with the level cranked, you're not getting any noise. If you need a quick overdrive pedal, if you're not afraid to break it, this is that pedal. It's cheap. You can probably replace it instantly. You know, you buy a few at a time. But if you want durability, you're better off going with something with a solid construction, and there's quite a few on the market. But for this price point, I don't think it gets any better. It's not durable, but it does the job really well, especially for high gain. In my next video, I'm going to be reviewing the UM300. It's a metal zone type pedal in plastic by Behringer. It's called Ultra Metal, and we'll see how it sounds like through a clean channel, as a booster on a high gain channel, and as a preamp. And we're going to be using the same exact cabinet impulses that we've been using. We'll see what it sounds like.